Hi there, my name is Toby, and today I want to tell you really the ultimate proof of the ether. And what I mean by the ether is that the universe is fluid, one pure fluid. It is not quantum. Quantum means digital, little bits and bobs. It goes on, it goes off, it goes on, it goes off. Digital. No, the universe is analogue. Analogue means continuous, infinite, fluid. Now there's a very simple proof for this. You see, the movement of an object in space is continuous. No one can deny that. If I take this object here, this little crystal, and I move it through space, that is continuous movement. Now, if the universe were quantum, then I have to look very close, look closer and closer at this object as it moves through space, and I would see it jumping. It would jump, jump, jump. It would disappear, reappear, disappear, reappear, disappear, reappear. But it does not. No matter how closely I look at this, it's moving fluid, continuously through space. That in itself is proof. The fundamental nature of the universe is analogue, fluid. Even a single atom, it will just move through space in fluid. Infinite movement. It doesn't jump, 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 jump. Vanish, appear, vanish, appear. No, it's here and it's moving. Now, there's another proof, again, a mathematical proof, that will tell us the universe is fluid. It's not digital. And that is chaos theory. Chaos theory means there is total unpredictability in the universe. If the universe were digital, that is quantum, binary, yes, we could predict everything. But because the universe is fluid, infinite variations of movement, now we have chaos theory, unpredictability. And you can see this in gravity. In gravity, there's a thing called the three-body problem. And there's a Netflix series of the same name, which is where I got the idea from. I saw some episodes of that. But the three-body problem is essentially if you have three gravitational objects, they're moving around, you cannot predict their future outcome. You're moving towards chaos theory. If you have two gravitational objects, they will pull together, and we can predict that. And sometimes they will go into an orbit. So if you have one small one, one big one, it will go round and around and around, trying to pull together, but it's locked at a particular trajectory and it goes round an orbit. And if you have two objects the same size and they are orbiting each other, then it's like they're going around in a circle. But imagine now you brought in a third one. So there's two moving in an orbit and a third one comes in and that starts to move in an orbit around the first two. Now it gets very complicated because they all influence each other and they're all moving in a fluid fashion, infinite variations of movement. So now it becomes unpredictable. You can only predict it so far. It's moving towards chaos theory. And in this Netflix series, Three-Body Problem, of course, it's about aliens. It's always about aliens invading. I'll talk about that another time. But you have three stars and a planet. So now you've got a planet moving around three stars, and these three stars moving around. So really you've got four objects going on. Now that becomes totally unpredictable. There is no computer that could predict the outcome of this 3-body or 4-body gravitational system. It's impossible to predict it, because we're talking about infinite movement, infinite variations. Infinite variations means unpredictable. And the whole universe is not just a 3-body problem, a 4-body problem, a 5-body problem. The whole universe is an infinite body problem. Total chaos theory. You cannot predict one moment to the next moment. Yeah, you can predict it to a certain extent on a very small, limited scale, but you cannot really predict it. That's why you cannot predict the future. No science can predict the future, and no psychic can predict the future. The same reason. We're dealing with chaos theory. The whole universe is pure fluid ether in motion. It's not digital, it is analogue. And we can prove that in those 2 simple ways: chaos theory mathematics and just looking at an object in space. See, look, if I drop this object, it will go down. We can predict that. But you cannot predict the minor details. See, my hand is here, but this hand is always slightly moving, so when I catch it, this hand is in a different place. If I drop this object down, every time, yes, it will fall down, because it's a simple system. But every time it drops down, every single time, it has a slightly different trajectory. Every time my hand catches it, this is a very complex system, 5 fingers, each one moving. Every time my hand catches it catches it in a slightly different way. And it is impossible to predict the exact movement of my fingers when it catches the object. And it's impossible to predict the exact angle or the exact point where this object will make contact with my hand. Because we're dealing with fluid, ether, analogue. It's not digital. It's not appearing, disappearing, appearing, disappearing, appearing, disappearing. And my hand is not digital. If it was digital, it would be finite and we could sort of predict it. Yeah, my hand will go through 1 million steps and this ball will go through 1 million steps. Now we can predict it. No, when this ball falls down, it is going through infinite steps. Not single steps, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, infinite steps. Pure fluid. Even this simple movement of me dropping an object is infinite mathematics. Infinite chaos theory mathematics. But we have the illusion that we can predict it. We can predict to a certain degree because we understand the nature of reality, of the universe. There is a force, there is a gravity, entropy, I would call it entropy. So we know everything follows this force. That allows us to predict to a certain degree, but not the details of it. And don't forget there's another force. You see this ball will fall down. That is entropy, gravity, by entropy. However, I pick it up. I pick it up. When I pick it up, that is consciousness. When I let go, it falls down. That is entropy. Entropy I can predict to a degree. I know if I drop this ball down, it's going to fall down and I catch it. But when I pick it up, oh, you don't know what I'm going to do. You can't say me, when I move the ball from here to here, I will lift it in a straight line. No. The consciousness is totally unpredictable. I could pick it up and go like this. Now it's here. You didn't know I was going to do that. I'll pick it up like this. Now it's here. You didn't know I was going to do that. Can you predict how I will pick it up? Ask any scientist now. I want to move this ball from here to here. Can you predict how it's going to happen? Can you do some calculation? Predict what I will do? No. I'll do this now. Now it's here. No way of predicting consciousness. But that is the universe. The universe is the ether. It is consciousness and it is entropy. And really what we've got is an interaction of consciousness that is totally unpredictable and entropy, which is predictable to a degree. But remember, all of this is happening inside this fluid. It is created from the fluid, but it is inside the fluid. The universe is the ether. It is not quantum, fundamentally. And because of this, quantum mechanics will never work. Quantum mechanics is fundamentally flawed. We have to go back to the ancient science, the science of the ether. Yeah, did it this way now. Oh, now it's there. And now I drop it. You cannot predict it. And every single movement is pure fluid. Now we can create digital movement to a degree inside fluid. That is a robot. A robot is digital movements. So they are more predictable, but still not really, because they're a big object now moving through space. But we, as living beings, consciousness, are totally unpredictable. We are fluid. Oh, you didn't know I was going to do that. So I hope this made sense. This, I think, is perhaps the simplest, most ultimate proof of the ether. Please do leave me any questions or comments. Thank you very much for listening, and also do check out my book. I now do have a book about the ether, and I will leave all the details about this book in the description of this video. So thank you so much again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in any of these other videos here.